Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, let us chant one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. We are reading, actually we're going to recite Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. chapter 9, text 30. Yes, Swarnangi Mataji. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhuji.
Apiketa suduracharo bhajate mam ananyaka sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavastito hi saha.
Translation.
Translation. My wisdom and grace is Bhakti and Srila Prabhupada. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay. Anyone else need to go first? We'll go in order then. Achintadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the humble devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat, Prabhuji. Apichet suduracharo
Apichet suduracharo
bhajate mam ananya bhak
bhajate mam ananya bhak
sadhureva samantavyah
sadhur eva samantavya
samyag vyavasito hi saha.
samyag vyavashito hi sa. Translation. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita. Not ready?
Do it towards the end.
Yeah. Inba, Inya, Jai Ganesh Prabhu, Jai Shri Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Translation. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Mataji, they are not available today.
No problem. Yeah. Lokesh. Not ready. Later. Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please
Hare
accept my
Krishna.
humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Apicheta suduracharo bhajte mamananya bhav sadhureva samantavyah samyag vyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Suraj Purti, Swarnangi Mataji. Not there. So anyone else is ready? If anyone is ready, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Tanas Pranam Salva Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Apichetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhav sadhur eva samantavyah samyag vyavasito hi saha. Translation. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in the devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Surya and Spurti are not here.
Not there. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? I'll recite, and meanwhile, if anyone joins, you can recite. Bhagavad Gita 9:30. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
Mataji, can I read?
Yes, go ahead.
Apichetsu duracharo bhajante mamananyabhak
Bhajate, not bhajante, bhajate.
bhajate mamananyabhak sadhur eva cha mantavya samyak vivasito hisa. If one commits the most
Even if one commits.
Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be
Considered,
saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
yes. Hare Krishna, thank you. Lokesh,
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Api chet suduracharo bhajate mamananyabhak sadhurev samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Appreciate the
Huh?
Sorry, appreciate Sadarachara Bhajatim Ananya Sadhur Eva Mantravya
Mantavya.
Samyak Vyavasito Hisa. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
Yes.
Prabhu is not available.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Spurti wants to do something.
Yes, yes.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Spurti.
Vichetsu duracharo bhajate mamananyava sadhureva samantavya samyak vivastito hi saha. Translation. Even if one commits the most
Abominable.
meanable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly stated in his determination.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you much.
She memorized the sloka.
I could tell. Very
Thanks.
nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, anyone else? Okay, so we'll do Srimad Bhagavatam now. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 22. Bali Maharaj surrenders his life to Vamandev. So we saw Prahlad Maharaj came and Prahlad Maharaj offered his prayers to Vamandev. And then Prahlad Maharaj said the same thing that Bali Maharaj said. What did Prahlad Maharaj say? He said, my dear Lord, it is your mercy. When Bali got the kingdom of heaven, that was because of your mercy. And now when you took everything away, this is also your mercy. And why it is your mercy? Because people who are, who are drowned in opulence, they cannot see that the goal of life is self-realization. When you are in a lot of opulence, you cannot see that the goal of life is self-realization. But the Supreme Lord can see Why? Because the Supreme Lord is not touched by the material energy. He cannot. So, seeing that this person, this living entity, is losing track of the goal of life, out of his mercy, he takes away the opulence. So, the Lord's taking away the opulence is also his kindness. After Prahlad Maharaj said this, yesterday, remember what we read? Anyone remembers? Let me see. What happened after Prahlad Maharaj said that? Who came to speak? Brahmaji came. Achintadev Prabhu, go ahead.
Yeah, Brahmaji came, and I think Vidya Mataji.
Vidyavali, correct. Thank you. So Brahmaji came to offer prayers, and immediately the wife of Bali Maharaj, Vindhyavali, she couldn't contain her. She was aggrieved seeing her husband in that condition. She was very sad, and also she was very eager, right? She couldn't wait. So Brahmaji was just about to speak, and immediately she blurts out. She starts speaking because she couldn't stop. So what did Vindhyavali say? So let me share the screen with you so you'll also see the translations. So she said, it's very interesting. So she was actually trying to say that, my Lord, please forgive my husband. You remember any incident similar to this where the wife is coming and praying to the Lord to forgive, and she's actually chastising her husband? She's praying to the Lord to forgive this foolish husband, but while she's praying, the way she presents is like presenting it in a way that he's so foolish. You remember any other incident?
Kalia.
Very good. Kalia's wives come, Nagapatnis, they come and they pray like that also. Yes. So, of course, there Kalia was envious. Bali Maharaj is not envious. Bali Maharaj is a devotee. But the point that she's touching on is that Bali Maharaj, he is thinking that he owns all this property, right? He has conquered heaven, and now he is the Lord of all this. And when the Supreme Lord has come to ask him for some, Shukracharya told him, right? This is Lord Vishnu. And then Bali Maharaj is offering, this is Vindhyavali is saying, Bali Maharaj is offering, of course, she said it indirectly. She said, oh my Lord, text 20, you have created the entire universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes. But foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly, they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think they can give charity and enjoyment. In such a condition, what good can they do for you, who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe? So she started off by saying that this whole universe belongs to you. And why did you create this universe? For your pastimes, for your enjoyment. But foolish people who are agnostics, remember, agnostics means they say things like God and, anything beyond our direct perception, those things they cannot be explained, and there's no way that anyone can know what they are. So there's no need of talking about God. We don't know anything. We cannot talk about it like that. You can say a kind of atheist. So people who are thinking, because here he's offering everything to the Lord, right? He's offering everything to the Lord, but still he's thinking that he's the proprietor. What is this? What understanding of God does he have like that? So people who are agnostics, shameless agnostics, they claim proprietorship, but actually the Lord owns everything, but they claim proprietorship, and they even dare to give him charity of his own property. They can give, and then by giving charity, they're going to enjoy. Such people, what good can they achieve? And what good can they do to the Lord? What benefit can they? The Lord doesn't need anything. He's not in need of anything. But they are thinking, yes, I have helped this Brahmana. So, like that. So, like this, Vindhyavali said, oh, only one line she said, and then Brahmaji begins to speak. Okay. So that's all. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained that her intention was to say, please forgive this foolish husband. And then also, he's thinking that, Prabhupada explains this in the purport, right? That not only is he giving charity of land, when the third step was not covered, he's thinking, I am separate from this land. The possessor of land is different. I still have myself. What is the value of yours? What is it that you're calling yourself? Your body. This body is not yours. Nothing is yours. Your intelligence, your hands, legs, nothing is yours. What do you mean by offering? I am separate from this, so I am offering you this. We don't own anything. That's the point. Then Brahmaji begins to speak. I think we started, or we have to start, right? Let me see. No, we didn't start. So we'll begin with Brahmo Vacha. And who's supposed to read today?
I read last, Mataji.
You read last. Okay, thank you. So Saujanya Mataji, Priyanka, Pragna are not here. So Suvarnangi Mataji, Suhrit Spurti and Prabhuji, whoever's there can read. Sri Brahmo Vacha Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jaganmaya Munchainam Hrita Sarvasvam Nayam Arhati Nigraham. Yes. You can read the purport also, it's just one line.
Translation. Lord Brahma said, O well-wisher and master of all living entities, one worshipful deity of all, the demigods, all-pervading personality of God. All-pervading personality of Godhead. Now this man has been suffocating sufficiently punished, for you have taken everything. Now you can release him, but does not
He does not.
But he does not deserve to be punished more.
Okay.
Purport. When Lord Brahma saw the Prahlad Maharaj and
Vindhyavali
had already approached the Lord to ask mercy for Bali Maharaj, he joined them to recommended Bali Maharaj's release on the grounds of worldly calculations.
Thank you. Lord Brahma said, O well-wisher and master of all living entities. Oh, so Brahmaji was about to speak, right? And in the meanwhile, Vindhyavali spoke. So now Brahmaji is saying, O well-wisher and master of all living entities, O worshipable deity of all the demigods, O all-pervading personality of Godhead. Now this man has been sufficiently punished, for you have taken everything. You can also pay attention to the prayers offered by different personalities. And by seeing their prayers, you can understand what type of a devotee that particular personality is. You see, there are different types of devotional service. So there is there are characteristic features of each type of devotional service. So by hearing the prayers, we can actually understand, what level or what type of devotee is that, what type of devotional service is that devotee practicing, like that. So, O well-wisher and master of all living entities, O worshipable deity of all the demigods, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, now this man has been sufficiently punished, for you have taken everything. Yes, you have punished him enough. You took everything away from him. Now you can release him. He does not deserve to be punished more. Actually, now openly, directly, Brahmaji is saying, please release him. So far, what did Prahlad Maharaj say? Prahlad Maharaj didn't say release. Prahlad Maharaj said, "You're punishing him is also your mercy." Vindhyavali, she, in an indirect way, she said, "Please release him. He's a foolish person," like that. So Brahmaji is saying, "You have punished him sufficiently. Please release him. He doesn't deserve to be punished anymore. He doesn't deserve. He's actually offered everything." How the demigods were so impressed by him, isn't it? Remember when Bali Maharaj went against his guru and he offered, the demigods were so pleased. They were offering millions of flowers, showering millions of flowers on Bali Maharaj. My God, he's done such a difficult task. The Lord came as an enemy and still he offered everything. Such a great person, right? So Brahmaji is also saying, "Oh Lord of all worshipable, Lord of all demigods, please release him. He doesn't deserve to be punished anymore. You have punished him sufficiently. Please, he doesn't release him. He doesn't deserve to be punished anymore." Purport. When Lord Brahma saw that Prahlad Maharaj and Vindhyavali had already approached the Lord to ask mercy for Bali Maharaj, he joined them and recommended Bali Maharaj's release on the grounds of worldly calculations. Yeah, he offered everything to you, whatever he had. So on the grounds of worldly calculations, he asked the Lord to release. Okay. कृत्स्नातेनेन दत्ता भूर् लोकाः कर्मार्जिताश्चये निवेदितं च सर्वस्वम् आत्मा विक्लवया धिया.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation: Bali Maharaj had already offered everything to your lordship without hesitation. He has offered his land, the planets, and whatever else he earned by his pious activities, including even his own body.
Yeah. So from worldly calculation, material calculation, whatever he had, he has offered you, isn't it? Everything that he possessed, he has offered up to his body. He even offered his body. The third step, right? This land, I'm separate from this land, so you take this body. So even up to his body, the last thing, right, that we have, body means body. Within the body, there is subtle body, everything, and I'm also there inside this body. He's offering everything without hesitation. That too, right? Sometimes we give charity, but with hesitation. I'm giving, but I wish I didn't have to give. But without hesitation, he's offered everything to you. His land, the planets. He was the Lord of all planets also, right? He conquered the heavens. And whatever else he earned by his pious activities, he offered everything to you. And he also offered his body. Like that. Yat padayorashatha ashatha. Wait. Ashatha. यत्पादयोरशठधि सलिलं प्रदाय दूर्वाङ्कुरैरपि विधाय सतीं सपर्याम् अप्युत्तमां गतिमसौ भजते त्रिलोकीम् दाश्वानविक्लवमनः कथमार्तिमृच्छेत्. Yeah, Mataji, Prabhuji.
Yes. By offering even water, newly grown grass, or flower buds at your lotus feet, those who maintain no mental duplicity can achieve the most exalted position within the spiritual world. This Bali Maharaj, without duplicity, has now offered everything in the three worlds. How then can he deserve to suffer from arrest?
Yeah, my Lord, you say patram pushpam phalam toyam, right? With love, yo me bhaktya prayachati. With love means uh, you genuinely want to give it to the Lord, right? Even the simplest thing like water, you just offer because he's bhavagrahi. So you offer even the simplest thing, then your life becomes perfect. Because when you offer with love, the Lord accepts it. He says Ashnami. So if he accepts something that we have offered with love, what does Srila Prabhupada say? That if the Lord accepts what you're offering, your life is perfect. Your life is perfect. But he will not accept unless there is love. So my Brahmaji is saying, my Lord, you said, even if someone offers, what are the things here? Durva grass. Let's read the translation again. that by offering even water, newly grown grass, just some grass you offer to Krishna, newly grown grass you can offer to Krishna, patram, right? Or some flower flower buds. Somebody offers at your lotus feet, condition is, but who maintain no mental duplicity. Yes, that will cover so many things, right? With no mental duplicity. They can achieve the most exalted position within the spiritual world. So, of course, this has to be, that means not expecting Ananya Bhakti. You're offering that Anyabhilashita Shunyam, out of love you're offering. And of course, anyone who's a devotee, why he will do anything other than bhakti? Right? It's not like now I'm offering some flower to the Lord and then I go and do this also, that also. No, not like that. This person who is 24/7 only absorbed in Krishna, always thinking of Krishna, praying to Krishna, serving Krishna, working for Krishna only all the time. Such a devotee, when he offers even an insignificant thing, right, like some water, a flower bud, or even a leaf or a grass, he offers to the Lord, then the Lord accepts it. He doesn't accept it. He says, I eat it. Ashnami. He accepts it. And what is the result for such a devotee when the Lord accepts? He gets the highest position. He'll go back to the spiritual world. And here, look at Bali, what he is offering. And he's offering without any hesitation. Bali Maharaj, without duplicity. Without duplicity. He has offered everything he had. He didn't offer a leaf or flower. He offered all the property, all the lands, and he offered his own body. Whatever was within his possession, he offered everything to you without any duplicity. How then can he deserve to suffer from arrest? Right? This is contradictory. We don't understand. Someone offers even something, you give him so much, right? All you have to say is Krishna Arpanam, Govinda Arpanam, right? Something which you're going to lose anyway, right? People do that. If I heard this once from Vaisheshika Prabhu's class, I don't know if I remember exactly the whole thing, but like let's say he said it something like the somebody is holding a gun against you and saying, give me all the money, right? And his friend is standing next to him, and he says to his friend that, you remember, I owe you that money, I'm giving that money back to you now. And the friend is saying, no, I don't want it now, because he's cleared from the debt. He knows anyway this money is going away to this thief. He is going to steal everything away. So I'm not going to enjoy that money. Let me return the debt to my friend. And the friend also saying, no, I won't take now, because if he takes it now, then anyway the thief is going to take it away. Like that, sometimes people, and it's what they do. Like if they're going to lose it anyway, they'll just say Krishna Arpanam. I'm offering it to Krishna, and that actually still gives them the result, because you have said I'm offering it to Krishna. This is called Karmarpanam. Karmarpanam is also a type of bhakti, but where you offer everything to the Lord, whatever you have, you offer it to the Lord. But generally people do that when they're going to lose something, then they say, Krishna Arpanam, because now I'm going to lose, I'm giving. You have heard that, right? When you lose something, they say, Krishna Arpanam, it's gone. But before losing it, you just utter that. That means now it is gone, right? It's not mine. But Bali Maharaj didn't do that, right? He offered everything willingly. That's the point here. Without hesitation, without duplicity. See, that is duplicitous. When you're offering it to the Lord, it is duplicitous. I'm going to lose it anyway, why not give it? Like, sometimes donations. So I have a lot of mangoes in my house, mango season, summertime. And then because it is cheap, I got so many mangoes. Now they are going to go bad. What to do? I don't have the capacity to eat. So let me give it in the temple. What type of offering is this? Is it duplicitous or not duplicitous? It is duplicitous. This is not offering out of love. Offering out of love means you'll go and look for the best mangoes. Whatever money, does not matter, less, more. Of course, if I don't have money, that's a different thing. But my desire is I want to offer the best. When I see something very nice, oh, let Krishna enjoy this. So you will look for the best thing, the quality, and you will want to offer it to Krishna. That is called love. Duplicitous means anyway it's going to get wasted here. If I offer it to the Lord, then I get some credit that I've offered to the Lord. So, but Bali Maharaj is not offering like that. Bali Maharaj is offering with love. Right? Bali Maharaj, without any duplicity, he offered everything in the three worlds. Of course, beginning itself, Srila Prabhupada said, Brahmaji is saying from material calculation. So materially, whatever he possessed, he offered everything. How then does he deserve to be punished like that? Purport, Shiv, Nrsingalila Chaitanya Prabhu.
Mataji Prabhu is not here now.
Okay. Achintadev Prabhu. Are you able to read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, Arunita read.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, 9.26, it is stated, Patram Pushpam Param Toyam Yama Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhaktya Bharatam Asnami Prayadatwanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind that if an unsophisticated person, with devotion and without duplicity, offers at the lotus feet of the Lord little water, a flower, a fruit, or a leaf, the Lord accepts it. Then the devotee is promoted to Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. Brahma drew the Lord's attention to this subject and requested that he release Bali Maharaj, who was suffering, being bound by the ropes of Bali, and who had already given him food in the three worlds and whatever.
Yeah. Next. Sri Bhagavanuvacha Brahmanyam Anugrihnami Tadvisho Vidhunomyaham Yanmadaha Purushah Stabdho Lokam Mam Chavamanyate. Prabhuji and Mataji, are you able to read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Lord Brahma, because of material opulence, a foolish person becomes dull-witted and mad. Thus, he has no respect for anyone within the three worlds and defies even my authority. To such a person, I show special favor by first taking away all his possession.
Yes. So, first Prahlad Maharaj came. Of course, first of all, Bali Maharaj offered his prayers. Prahlad Maharaj came and spoke. Vindyavali Mataji spoke. And then Lord Brahma spoke. Right? Lord Brahma directly said, please release him. So now Lord Vamandev is speaking. My dear Lord Brahma, because of material opulence, a foolish person becomes dull-witted and mad. Exactly what Bali Maharaj said, and also what Prahlad Maharaj said. That because of material opulence, a foolish person becomes dull-witted and mad. Thus, he has no respect for anyone within the three worlds and defies even my authority. This is the result of intoxication by material opulence. When one becomes intoxicated because of material opulence, he will think he is the greatest, and that is madness, right? He becomes mad and his intelligence becomes very dull, right? And then he becomes arrogant, disrespectful to others, even up to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To such a person, I show special favor by first taking away all his possessions. This is the Lord's mercy. Exactly what Bali Maharaj said and what Prahlad Maharaj said. This is my favor. Taking away everything from him is my favor to wake him up. purport. So, one second. Shiv Kumar Prabhu, sorry, Narsingh Leela Chaitan Prabhu, you're going to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. A civilization that has become godless because of material advancement in opulence is extremely dangerous. Because of great opulence, a materialist become so proud that he has no regard for anyone and even refuses to accept the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The result of such a mentality is certainly very dangerous. To show special favor, the Lord sometimes makes an example of someone like Bali Maharaja, who was now bereft of all his possessions.
Yeah. So what is Srila Prabhupada saying? Again, how it is applicable to us. A civilization that has become godless because of material advancement in opulence is extremely dangerous. Because of great opulence, a materialist becomes so proud that he has no regard for anyone and even refuses to accept the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Like, who said this? Somebody said this before, and then there we saw Punarmoshika Bhava. Right? He becomes so puffed up, and then so the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said that someone who has material opulence, he becomes blind to self-realization, to the goal of life. But the Lord can see what is the goal of life, right? And he can see that this person is lost. So out of his kindness, he takes away all the opulence. So the Lord is saying the same thing what Prahlad Maharaj said. Because of great opulence, a materialistic person becomes proud and he has no respect for anyone. A proud person, he won't respect anyone. And he even refuses to accept the authority of the Supreme Lord. Then what does the Lord do to such a person? Actually, if he continues on this path of being proud, he will be destroyed. It's very dangerous to be on that path, to go down on that path. So the Lord, out of his special favor to shake him up, to wake him up, he actually takes away his opulences. And of course, here the Lord is doing this. See, he always, when the Lord wants to teach a lesson, he teaches lesson through his devotees. We see it time and again. Arjun was his eternal devotee. And Krishna gave that bewilderment, that illusion to Arjun so that we can get this Bhagavad Gita. Parikshit Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord from birth. Even in the womb of his mother, Krishna protected him. But still, the Lord wanted to give us Srimad Bhagavatam. So he made Parikshit Maharaj become, angry at Samika Rishi, put a dead snake on him, like that. So similarly here also, the Lord is, Bali Maharaj is a devotee. That's why he's offering everything to the Lord. Although he's born in a demon's family, still he's a devotee. But the Lord is, he wants to teach us a lesson. When anyone becomes proud because of his material opulence, the Lord is going to take everything away. You're going to lose everything. And why he does that? Because it is not good for our spiritual life. So to set an example to everyone else, he took everything away from Bali Maharaj. Of course, in the course, he will also, by doing this, he glorifies Bali Maharaj's character. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, to show special favor, the Lord sometimes makes an example of someone like Bali Maharaj, who was now bereft of all his possessions, right? So he's showing his special favor here. So when the Lord takes away everything, if in the case of a devotee, when he's losing all his wealth, it is the Lord's mercy on that devotee, not otherwise. Okay? So next, do you have a question? Suvarnangi Mataji or Prabhuji, your hand is raised.
No, Mataji.
Okay. So we'll continue. Arunita read. Achintadev Prabhu. Mataji read.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Yada kadachit jivatma samsaran nija karma bhihi nana yonishvani shoyam paurushim gatimavare avrajet.
Translation: while rotating in the cycle of birth and death again and again in different species because of his own fruitive activities, the dependent living entity, by good fortune, may happen to become a human being. This human birth is very rarely obtained. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
This is the Lord's instruction. The Lord is speaking. So let's hear attentively what the Lord is saying. While rotating in the cycle of birth and death again and again in different species. Why we are rotating in different species? Because of his own fruitive activities. Not that the Lord is to be blamed. Not that the Lord puts me through this and that. No. Because of my own fruitive activities. I'm rotating through different species, right? In the cycle of birth and death. The dependent living entity by good fortune may happen to become a human being. Dependent living entity. We are dependent, aren't we? Are we independent? No. At every stage, we are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Even as Paramatma, right? Unless we get a body, for everything, to even to blink our eyes, we are dependent on the Lord. So we are dependent. We are not independent. By good fortune, we get the human body. This human birth is very rarely obtained. Purport. So who's next? Inba Inya, right?
They are not here, Mataji.
Go ahead, Prabhuji, you read here.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully independent. Thus, it is not always a fact that a living being's loss of all opulence is a sign of the Supreme Lord's mercy upon him. The Lord can act any way he likes. He may take away one's opulence or he may not. There are varieties of forms of life, and the Lord treats them according to the circumstances as he chooses. Generally, it is to be understood that the human form of life is one of great responsibility. Purusha Prakriti. Can I continue, Matan?
Yeah.
Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhunte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sandoshya Sadashad Yoni Janmashu. The living entity in material nature follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil amongst various species. Bhagavad Gita 13.22. After thus rotating through many forms of life in the cycle of birth and death, the living being gets a chance for a human form. Therefore, every human being, especially one belonging to a civilized nation or culture, must be extremely responsible in his activities. He should not risk degradation in the next life, because the body will change. Tata dehantara prapta. We should be extremely careful. To see to the proper use of life is the purpose of Krishna consciousness. The foolish living entity declares freedom from all control, but factually is not free. He is fully under the control of material nature. He must therefore be most careful and responsible in the activities of his life.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So this is the most important thing. The fact is that we have to change our body. Death is certain. So the Varnashram system or the Vedic lifestyle is designed in such a way that while we are going through this life, right from birth, there are samskaras at every stage. This is part of Varnashram system. Even before the birth of the child, there is samskara. After birth, there is samskara. At various stages of one's life, there is samskara. What are these samskaras? They are meant for the purification of the living entity so that he can progress in his spiritual life. So spiritual life is at the heart of a Varnashram society. What is happening in today's world? How are the living entities? How are people guided? Think about it. Is there any understanding of what is the goal of life? Do we even talk about what will happen after death, that we all have to face death? In all the subjects that we study in school, where do they tell us? They maybe nowadays they educate, if there is an accident, which numbers you should call, and so on and so forth, what you should do after you're in the hospital and what you should tell the cops. Not about the soul, there's no understanding. Yet, that is the most important thing. This human form of life is the most rare opportunity we get. What we can achieve in the human form of life cannot be achieved in all the other species. There are 8,400,000 species. We've gone through them. And now we are in this human form of life. Such a rare opportunity. And how we are wasting this life. People drive recklessly on the roads, on motorbikes, speeding up. And young people, like teenagers, they get killed on the road. Life is finished. For what? And even if we are living, we engage in eating cows, meat, intoxication. Such a valuable opportunity we got, and we just burn it off for nothing. And then again, now suffer in hell for I don't know how many, lifetimes of time. And then again come back, take birth, suffer the miseries, the pains of birth, old age, disease, and death. That is why devotees feel compassion when they see the suffering of people. They feel compassion. They want to do whatever possible to help this person. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood and the mood of the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When devotees go out to distribute books, why they are going out? To help people awaken, because whatever has been done, but whatever little opportunity you have, awaken your Krishna consciousness. With the same mode of compassion, Srila Prabhupada has come to the Western world. So, in whatever small way, insignificant way, we can contribute, right? First of all, help yourself before help your neighbor, it is said. So first we should be in a proper condition. For that, Srila Prabhupada gave us a simple technique. Chant at least 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra attentively. Step 1. And in order to do that, to be able to do that regularly, don't engage in sinful activities, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating. And then all the time that you have, you use it in, building your own faith by hearing from those who are more, advanced, and also extending your hand to those who are not so advanced. Help them come higher in whatever way. Give them some prasadam. Tell them about Krishna. Don't waste your valuable time in this human form doing anything other than Krishna consciousness. Even if you have to do some basic things just for your livelihood, keep it simple. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says. Labho jiveta yavata. That means just whatever you need to have a healthy life, do only that much work. And the rest of the time, use it for advancing in Krishna consciousness, your own Krishna consciousness and others' Krishna consciousness. The benefit, the highest profit or benefit of this is the Lord is pleased. And if the Lord is pleased, that is our perfection, right? By this activity, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. And here also Vamandev is saying that he's directly telling us, right? What is the Lord saying? While rotating in the cycle of birth and death again and again in different species because of his own fruitive activities, the dependent living entity by good fortune may happen to become a human being. So that's why this preaching, the Shastras, association, all this is meant for human beings. Animals cannot. For animals, maybe you'll give some prasadam. Other than that, what else can be done? But human beings, they have that capacity. They can actually take to the practice. Remember Bharat Maharaj, when he became the deer, he had to take again another birth to continue his bhakti, because in animal form of life, what bhakti can you practice? That body is not suitable for practicing bhakti. Of course, he was going and he remembered, so he would stay around where the devotees are there, but still, To progress in bhakti, to engage in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, the most suitable body is the human form of body. And we have it now. So wherever we can make a difference, let's try to do it. And where we are not able to make any difference, let's not waste time there. Let's at least, we'll look for those areas where we can actually help. And if you're not able to do anything, at least you can practice your own bhakti. You can chant Hare Krishna. That will help others also. So, what is Srila Prabhupada saying? The Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully independent. He is not always, thus, it is not always a fact that a living being's loss of all opulence is a sign of the Supreme Lord's mercy upon him. Yeah, it doesn't mean that anyone who loses everything, it's because the Lord is showing mercy on him. It's not necessary. Or it's not necessary that the Lord shows his mercy only by taking everything away from you. No. He's like a doctor, right? He knows what you need. Sometimes he can prescribe, it's not true that the medicine is always bitter. Sometimes the medicine can be sweet also, right? So the doctor knows what is the medicine. For example, if you have tonsillitis, then to make it bigger and then to do surgery, they'll give you ice cream, eat a lot of ice cream. So, but some other times you are diabetic and this and that, then no, you cannot eat anything sweet or anything delicious. So it depends. The doctor knows what to prescribe. So it's not necessary that Krishna always takes away all your opulence. It's not like that. He's independent, supremely independent, and he knows. So depending on our disease, he may take away or he may give. So he may take away one's opulence or he may not take away, because you don't need that type of treatment. You're not attached. So in some people's case, maybe you'll function better if there is some little bit of opulence is there, then you can practice bhakti nicely. And some other person's case, when you get opulence, then you become so intoxicated, you don't do any bhakti. He will take it away. There are varieties of forms. And then the Lord treats them according to the circumstances, as he chooses. Yes. So then why we get different forms of life? Sometimes this is another illusion. We think, oh, the Lord puts me through all these difficulties. He gives me this out of... No. We should never consider that all my difficulties are coming because of the Lord. No. That is only in the case of really exalted devotees. Sometimes he may do that. But for us, the difficulties that we are suffering is our own reactions. But the reactions he's coming through him, not even, I won't even say for us. Ye yathamam prapadyante. So that is individual, depending on where we are in our bhakti. Right? After one enters into Ananya Bhakti, then the person is directly under the Lord's control. The Lord has taken charge of his life. What is Ananya Bhakti means? Full surrender. So we have to decide whether I'm fully surrendered to the Lord or not. And if I'm fully surrendered, then that has to reflect in my life. So after that full surrender, then the Lord takes charge. Still you have some reactions from your past life, but they are not given to you. The reactions are not coming to you from Yamaraj. No. Those reactions, the Lord decides how much to give and how much there's no need. Now you're directly under the Lord's control when you surrender. So he may feel this person still needs some punishment. So he'll use his own reactions. Okay, you suffer this much. But the purpose of that suffering is to help him advance in bhakti further. And another devotee, oh, he's already learned his lesson. There's no need to give him. So just clear all that baggage. No need. No need of any suffering. You just progress smoothly. He can choose what he wants because he's the expert. He knows. Like that. Kalpesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, you mentioned about Ananya Bhakti, and if somebody is in that state, Ananya Bhakti, then Lord will take charge of him. But we were reading that Bhagavad Gita thing, sloka where Durachara. So the who is doing the durachar is kind of doing the Ananya Bhakti, and we should give him respect like a sadhu, and we should treat him like a sadhu. How do we? Because the only reason to apply that shloka in our life is to check first of all whether we are in that state or not. But second is also finding the association and judging, assessing people, not judging, but assessing people whether we really want to
associate with them or not. Correct.
That is the only reason. We are not supposed to. I mean, we only want other people for association, not for what they are doing in their personal life.
Yes.
So
and it's valid, it's correct. You should do also. That's said. Sadhu prakara, when we study types of sadhus, we study what are the different types of sadhus. Why we study different types of sadhus? Because we choose what association we want, and it is valid. It's good. You can choose which type of sadhu you want to associate with. There's nothing wrong with that. As you said, not with the intention of criticizing them or finding fault with them, but you want to choose which type of sadhu you want to associate. For that, you want to understand. Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Yes, so that is what I'm learning also, and I'm trying to see that way. So when we don't have a clarity on Ananya Bhakti, who is the Ananya Bhakti, and at the same time the symptoms which are displayed from outward, and we will only assess. We cannot really somebody's mind, what's going in their mind, and how much internally they are connected with Lord. That's very, I don't know if Lord inspires our intellect to identify that. That's good. But if for people who want to look for association and then trying to judge who is durachara, because we will look at those symptoms, right, from outward, what with his activity, basically what he is doing.
Yes.
And in that only we can really assess, like, okay, this is what I want, this is the person I want to associate with.
Yes. I think I got your point. Let me tell you, and then you tell me if I'm catching you properly. One thing, even with this durachari, because you brought up, Krishna says you should still consider him a sadhu, but he doesn't say you should associate with him. You should not associate with him. Yes, you should not. Yeah. But you don't criticize him. You don't talk about him with others. And by the way, who is this? This is Ananya Bhakta. This is Ananya Bhakta. And as I said, that case is a very rare case. Someone is actually Ananya Bhakta and still doing Durachara. It's a very, very rare case. But even otherwise, as you said, we don't know what is in his heart. All I'm seeing is that Durachara he's doing, and still he comes to the temple, or where do you see devotees? Either he comes to the classes online, or he or she, or comes to the temple, and apparently he chants Hare Krishna, and I don't know. Maybe he's Ananya Bhakta. How can I judge another person whether he's Ananya Bhakta or not? Externally he may be doing, but in his heart what he is, how will I know? Correct. But based on his external activities, you should not associate with him. That is said. You should not associate. But in your heart, don't think. And you, like Jesus Christ said, right? Hate the disease. You should hate the disease, but not the diseased. So if there is disease, then you are not, even those who are treating, when the COVID was going on, they protect themselves. They still treat, the nurses and doctors, but at the same time, they have to take care. They have to protect themselves, even if they are in such close contact. What is the instruction for everyone else? Stay away so that you don't spread that disease. You don't, contract it yourself, and also you don't contribute to spreading it around. Same principle. So when you see durachara, that is durachara, no doubt. So you should not associate with that durachara. You should not. But in your heart, you should not consider, oh, and what to speak of talking with others. This person is doing that. We cannot do that.
No, that is what we should. Yeah, because that's not. It will be prajalpa.
Right. But as you said, yeah, we should always seek, like honeybees, we should seek where there is nectar. And if you are even if you have a little bit of association with that person, and if that person may be having his personal problems, doing some durachara or whatever, but when this is also possible, when he meets with you, he will only tell you about Krishna, which is inspiring you in your Krishna consciousness. Why not? Be a honeybee, take that part, but don't judge him for other things that he's doing and those things. But if he's actually inspiring you in your Krishna consciousness, sometimes this happens. Then on that level, whatever he's telling you about Krishna, he's inspiring you about Krishna, take that lesson. And the other things that he's doing, then I don't understand why he's doing. I pray to Krishna, but I will not, judge. But if in your association with him, if you are getting influenced by those qualities, by those activities that he's doing, or even if he's blaspheming someone else, criticizing someone else and telling you that is poison, run away. Run away from that. Turn around and run full speed. That's what our teachers tell us. Wherever you see blasphemy, they are blaspheming, don't entertain it. Run away from that situation. But at the same time, he's a devotee, he's chanting, so I respect in the heart, but I will not associate.
Yeah, that is what. Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, so it's we finished this purport. I'll just read the last paragraph. So we are taking different forms of life according to our own fruitive activities. That is important. The living entity in material world, material nature follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil amongst various species. Why I'm meeting with good and evil? Because of my own activities, my own association with the modes of nature. Right? Finally, he gets a human form of life after all this rotation. And even in human form of life, Bhagavatam tells us there are 400,000 species of human beings. Only a few of them are civilized. Civilized means where you will actually, there's some understanding of the Supreme Lord. Varnashram Dharma, where there are Vedas, right? Where there is obedience to the Vedas. Very few. So if you take birth in such a situation, you must act in an extremely responsible way. You have but this one opportunity. How careful we should be in every way, right? Whether we are raising children, giving them the right values, and for ourselves, how we are behaving in our life, how we are using our time. That's the lesson here. Okay. So this shloka, we will end with this shloka in our Srimad Bhagavatam reading. We'll continue tomorrow. And so Jai Ganesh Prabhu read today. If Inba, Inya, Jai Shri Mataji are there, they will read tomorrow. If they are not there, then we will begin with Isha Krishna Shish Madhava Rasa Priya. And yeah, so we'll do Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, text 46. Please repeat. Yataha pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So this is what performing your own work means. What we read just now about Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These are the different types of people based on the modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. They can be classified, and there is prescribed work for each of these varna. So if one is doing his own particular duty, that means work which is prescribed to him according to his nature. If he's simply doing that work, and as I told you, Varnashram system is the center is worshipping Lord Vishnu. So he will do his work and he will be offering that work to the Lord. by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading. He is everywhere, right? Even in your mind, you offer. Sarvam Narayanaya Samarpayeti. Just you say with your mouth like that. You're offering this. I'm offering this to the Lord. I'm offering this to the Lord. And whatever work I do, whatever work means work which is prescribed to me according to my nature, I will do only that work, and that work also I will offer to the Lord. And of course, whatever laukika karma means sitting, eating, sleeping, walking, all these things also. Sarvam Narayanaya Samarpayeti. By doing this, that means all the perfection of whatever I do is the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the 15th chapter, all living beings are fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the Supreme Lord is the beginning of all living entities. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra Janmadyasya Yataha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And as stated in the, so there Janmadyasya Yataha, Asya means of this material world. So when you say is the beginning of all the living entities, we are talking about all the living entities that you see in this world, all the different forms of life. Where are they coming from? So first of all, there is Sarga, that means there's creation from Karanodaka Shai Vishnu, and then there is Visarga. Lord Brahma is awarding bodies to each person according to his karma, that is Visarga. And all the living entities coming out, being impregnated into Prakriti from Karanodaka Shai Vishnu, that is in the beginning, Sarga, part of Sarga. So, Janmadyasya Yataha means we are talking about the creation of this material world. Creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world. And the Supreme Absolute Truth is the beginning of everything. Okay. So this is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadyasya Yataha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And as stated in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord by his two energies, right? Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti and apareyam itastwanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. So the living entity and the external energy, these are the two energies within this material creation. As stated in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord by his two energies, his external energy and internal energy, is all pervading. Therefore, one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Okay, here internal energy is said. So internal energy means his Swarupa Shakti. And also there is the external energy. So one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Generally, the Vaishnava devotees worship the Supreme Lord with his internal energy. His internal energy is a perverted reflection. His external energy is a perverted reflection of the internal energy. The external energy is a background, but the Supreme Lord, by the expansion of his plenary portion as Paramatma, is situated everywhere. He is the super soul of all demigods, all human beings, all animals, everywhere. So the demigods also have Paramatma, like you and I have Paramatma, right? Sometimes those who are worshippers of demigods, they think this demigod is the supreme. No, the demigod also has Paramatma. The Paramatma is there in demigods also. In fact, everything is coming to this demigod through the Paramatma. He is the super soul of all demigods, all human beings, all animals, everywhere. One should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one has his duty to render service unto the Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. That is recommended in this verse. So what is being said is that every being in this whole creation, whether in higher planets, middle planets, lower planets, rich, poor, right, Indian, American, African, old, young, male, female, everyone is actually getting everything. Whatever he's doing is completely dependent on that Lord. Let's say you're a servant. You're being maintained by one wealthy person. right? He's giving you food, clothing, shelter. He gets you married and he pays for your children's education and everything. He's doing everything for you. What will be expected of you? You are surviving on his at his cost. You're literally, and we cannot give any example which can compare to how much we are dependent on the Supreme Lord. We cannot even breathe for a moment without him. That's how much we are dependent on him. To say that just bow down before him, say thank you, is that too much to ask? Think of the masters in this world. If anyone is doing like this, what will they expect? We have slaves, don't we? How are the slaves treated? And here he is giving us everything. All he's asking is just, be grateful to the Lord for all that he's doing. He is a good master. He is a well-wisher. He wants us to be happy and he's giving us everything. All he is saying is acknowledge that. Say thank you, right? And that's all. And your life is perfect. You do that. But if we don't do even that, then of course, I mean, it's abominable, isn't it? It's condemned. You take so much from someone and then you don't, and then what to speak of, you criticize him and you work against him. What kind of a person is that? So this system of varnashram system is the way of life. It's the proper way of life, right? So we are, the fact is, everyone, it does not matter whether whoever you may be, everyone is living at his cost. So everyone should be engaged in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. This is the proper way of life, and you will be happy by doing this. Even that, he's not expecting that because he's an autocrat and he wants to see that because I'm your master, you should bow down before me. That's not his purpose. He's asking us to do this because this is our natural position. We'll be most happy when we are engaged in his service. Like the fish in water. If somebody is putting the fish in water, it's for the fish's benefit. You are in water, you will live nicely. So, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. Our Swarupa is to be a servant of Krishna. So, when Krishna is telling us, serve me, because we will be most happy, that is our natural constitutional position to serve him. And this whole lifestyle of Varnashram system is actually promoting that. It is teaching us to live in our natural constitutional position of serving Krishna. He's the center, he's the master, we are all servants. That's all. That is Varnashram system. And that is recommended in this verse. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Hrishikesha. Right? We hear about the kings in Jaipur, right? They would be kings, they would have a palace, but Radha Govinda, he is the lord of this kingdom. The king, the ministers, everyone else, the family members, they go and every day they go and bow down before the Lord. You are the master, you are the maintainer. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular, like you have a proprietor, right? You're working in a company, there's a proprietor who's paying you, like that. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Hrishikesha, the master of the senses, and by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, should be worshipped. Simple, isn't it? Whatever work I do, I offer it to the Lord because he is the proprietor. If one thinks always in this way, in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. So if you do this, karmarpanam, that will build, that will actually bring you to Swarupa Siddha Bhakti. It gives you a taste. Vasudeva Katharuchi will develop. When you do karmarpanam, what is the result of karmarpanam? You do work and you offer it to the Lord, you offer it to the Lord. The result of this, the perfection of this activity is now you will develop Vasudeva Katharuchi. That means you will get a taste for direct devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. That is why it is said here, he becomes fully, by doing this, he becomes fully aware of everything. And that is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 12:7, Tesham aham samudharta. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection. Just one more point, note on this discussion. You offer, first of all, we should offer that work which is prescribed for us. But right now we are in a situation where anyway we are doing some work and we are not, according to circumstances, that's called vikarma. How do we offer? Offer that also. It's okay. Just offer. Whatever work you're doing, just offer it. Even if it is sinful activity, offer it. But important thing is what is your consciousness. When you're offering it, you don't take it for granted. It's okay. So I can do anything and I can offer to the Lord. I'll continue my life the way it is and I'll just keep offering and I'll become free from my sinful reactions. That's not bhakti. It's okay. You're thinking like that, you're doing offering to the Lord. That's not good. If you really want to make progress in bhakti, such a person will feel, he'll regret, he'll feel sorry, he'll be feeling, when will that day come when I will live my life the way Krishna wants me to live? Somehow, according to circumstances, because of my own past activities, I'm stuck in this situation. I have to do this type of work. And then with that regret, he offers that to the Lord. That is good. That is good. Because for bhakti, we need, the heart has to be soft. Bhakti means the heart has to be soft. When we take things for granted and we say we offer and now I am free, where is the softness of the heart? The heart actually becomes harder and harder if we think like that, right? So finally, just before we end, we will read Srila Prabhupada's Leela Amrita. So tomorrow we will read this verse, next verse. Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Continuation. So what were we reading yesterday? At the Radha Damodar temple, he felt he had entered the eternal residence. Or did we read this yesterday? Bhaktivedanta Swami's spiritual master and the previous spiritual masters in the disciplic succession had wanted the Krishna consciousness movement to spread all over the world. And as Bhaktivedanta Swami daily gathered inspiration sitting before Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, he prayed to his spiritual predecessors for guidance. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada is sitting there in front of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi every day and chanting his japa, and so many pilgrims are coming, they are also offering obeisances. But what is Srila Prabhupada's meditation? That he received this intimate direction, this dictation, that he has to go and preach in the West. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted him to go to the West. And in order to get further blessings, Krishna had arranged for Prabhupada to come to Radha Damodar temple. At the Radha Damodar temple, he felt he had entered an eternal residence known only to pure devotees of the Lord. Did we read this yesterday? Doesn't feel familiar. No, right? Or maybe we did. Okay. Yet, although they were allowing him to associate intimately with them in the place of their pastimes, they were ordering him to leave Radha Damodar and Vrindavan and to deliver the message of the Acharyas to forgetful parts of the world. So this Radha Damodar temple, Srila Prabhupada said, it is the hub, the center of the whole universe, Radha Damodar temple. So that means all the pastimes are happening there of the devotees. But still, at the same time, although Srila Prabhupada is there with all the acharyas, so intimately associating with them, still the order was he had to leave and go and deliver all the suffering souls in the world, go to the West. So I'll just read the next two paragraphs. In June, the weather became intolerably hot, like now, June, right, in India. And one could not remain active through the afternoon. During the most oppressive hours, Bhaktivedanta Swami would shut his doors and shutters and run the overhead fan. By evening, the heat would abate. Again, a flurry of visitors would arrive, and in the temple compound, there would be evening kirtans. Sitting on his veranda, Bhaktivedanta Swami would sometimes talk with visitors, or sometimes they would come to his door and observe him as he worked at his typewriter. He was known in Vrindavan as a scholar and a sublime devotee, but he kept to himself as much as possible, especially in the summer of 1962, working on Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada left in 1969. So this is in 1962. That was his real purpose in coming here, to prepare the books he could distribute to the people of the West. Although as yet he had no means for traveling, even as far as Japan, right? He got the offer to go to Japan, but he didn't have the ticket, right? He didn't have the money to go to Japan, and no means for printing books. These were the goals for which he worked. He had not come to Vrindavan to die and return to Godhead. Rather, he had come because it was the ideal place to gain spiritual strength for his main life's work. The exact shape of his future mission, Bhaktivedanta Swami did not know. But he did know that he must prepare himself for preaching Srimad Bhagavatam to the English-speaking Western world. He must become a perfectly equipped instrument of his masters, and if they desired, they would send him. So with that, we come to the end of chapter 10, and tomorrow we'll read chapter 11. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all for joining this morning. Also, we would like to welcome Vasul Prabhu to our family. Thank you for joining, Prabhuji.
Good morning, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm very happy that you joined. Good morning. So at this time we end at 8 o'clock. So we start at 6:30 and we end at 8. Sometimes we go a little over. So all of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. I will see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.